Hello everyone, this is Alan, and today we're going to be reviewing Sons of Apollo's brand new album that just dropped today, Psychotic Symphony. And this has been a project or band that's gotten a lot of hype, and there's been a lot of interviews and stuff that Mike Portnoy and Derek Shrinian have done over the past few months to kind of, build the hype for the band and for the album. And before we kind of get into this, I just want to say I'm a Mike Portnoy fanboy. I follow a lot of the things, a lot of the projects that he does. I'm a big fan of his style of drumming, and he kind of inspired me to be a drummer, and it's where I kind of learned a lot of my stuff from. And I have to say that Sons of Apollo, it really rivals my favorite band that he's done. Outside of Dream Theater, obviously. Um, it rivals even Transatlantic in terms of how good this stuff really is, how good this music is. So, I mean, I personally love it, but let's get into it here. We're going to go song by song and just kind of a high level overview of the songs and what kinds of my initial thoughts were on when I listened through it. And I've listened through it about two to three times now here, so um, let's get into it. So the first track, "God of the Sun," it's a really solid opening track, right? It's a really powerful song. It's got a lot of impact, a lot of oomph to it, right? Um, but I mean, and it follows I guess, the Dream Theater song formula, if you will. It goes verse, chorus, bridge, instrumental, prog section, chorus, and then ending. But it really showcases what this band's all about. It's got, high intensity, high impact, really heavy stuff. The instrumental section's really, really proggy, has some really awesome technical aspects to it, and this is one of this is the longest track on the album, but it definitely doesn't disappoint. It's really good, punchy in the face. This is what we're about kind of track. Second track, "Coming Home." So this is classified, at least in my opinion, as the radio song. This was the first song that we got spoiled prior to the release of the album. They did a video for it. It's a really straightforward song. There's some really nice synchronization stuff going on between Billy and Bumblefoot. Uh, this track particularly, Jeff Scott Soto's, his vocals really, really shine here. It showcases his ability his control and his range really, really well. And then Bumblefoot's solos are really tasty. Derek's tones are really good. They're really gritty and aggressive and very reminiscent of some of the stuff that he had done in the past with Dream Theater and Planet X. The next song, "Signs of the Times." So this is the second song that was spoiled. Mike Portnoy put up a drum video of this song, and it's very plain and simple. This song is heavy. It starts to kind of delve into some of the odd time signature stuff, but it's not too crazy. The chorus is very poppy. It's got some multi-layered vocals going on. And I think that's one of the things that's, Soto really brings to the table is that he can take any chorus and make it memorable, like they were saying in their interviews. It really shines through here, but they brilliantly go back into this really heavy riff, and they just bring it back, and you just can't help but really headbang to the song. It's got a lot of, again, really good power, and it's heavy, and it's just you can't help but headbang. Next track, "Labyrinth." So I classify this as prog epic number one. It doesn't start out super, super technical. It has kind of an 80s-ish, kind of power metal-y kind of vibe, with some of the synth work that goes on, but it has some kind of technical sections throughout. The instrumental section, though, is really where it starts to open up, and it becomes just this onslaught of, you know, technical precision. It's very reminiscent of in the Presence of Enemies Part 2, off of Systematic Chaos from Dream Theater. And I think that's where I think Portnoy's kind of influence kind of brings that kind of prog element. It has a very reminiscent feel of that. Derek's tones, again, very heavy, very gritty, fits really, really well with what the song is doing. I should say Bumblefoot solos here are incredible. They're fast, they're technical, they're just incredible. But now coming out of the instrumental section, they really show that they can pull some emotional kind of like really powerful unison sections, and it leads up to some really great choiry type vocals, very heavenly, airy type vocals. Um, and then it jumps right back into this 80s Van Halen synthy type thing straight out to the end of the song. Really, really good song. Next song is Alive, and that is radio song number two. It's kind of a 90s classic rock type kind of intro, and then it opens up into this modern hard rock classic, your stereotypical headbanger kind of hard rock song. Derek has some really interesting key parts in there that are more accents more than anything, but it adds, it doesn't hinder or it doesn't feel out of place. It more so just adds to the impact of the parts that they're present in. Next song is Lost in Oblivion, which this song was actually just released today as a video on the Sons of Apollo YouTube channel. It's fast paced. It's just right out the gate. It's super fast paced. It's heavy. It feels like a lot of like a kind of like an adrenaline mob type style. Um, Again, so Soto's ability to really bring a poppy kind of chorus to it is welcomed. It feels natural, but the way that they leave the chorus and they go into the verse is really abrupt, and it's brilliant. The way that they do it is really cool. Again, it's got a really cool prog instrumental solo section, and there's some really cool unison stuff that goes on between Billy, Derek, and Bumblefoot, and it's really, really cool. The next song, Figaro's Horror, which uh, it's a short song. It's a minute and 5 seconds long, but this is kind of Derek's like self-indulgent kind of moment. It's a really cool, like very reminiscent of stereotypical Derek Sherinian keyboard solo, and it's a really really cool introduction kind of because it flows straight into the next song for the most part, and it's like a nice introduction to Divine Addiction. Divine Addiction, second to last song. It's a heavier kind of Van Halen-y type vibe with the synth work that goes on. It definitely has a classic rock kind of feel. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too technical, but it's a really good turned up a notch 80s classic rock type song. Really good song. It's again it's your it's almost like it could be on the radio, but it's a very clean cut and dry, really good by the books kind of song. And then the last song on the album, Opus Maximus, the closer, the big long prog epic number two, the 10.5 minutes instrumental. They've talked about this song and how this was kind of like their bar and what they wanted to do. They wanted to have an instrumental on the album, and this is kind of their 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 stand on it. There's only one way to describe this song. It's just epic. Um, it's really, in my opinion, it does set a new bar for instrumental songs. And it's everyone in the band, all the instrumentals get to really shine here. Billy particularly, and Bumblefoot really get to shine a lot in this song. There's a lot of crazy technical runs that Billy and Bumblefoot do in unison with Derek, and you get to experience some of Bumblefoot's incredible tone. His solo tone is goosebump inducing. It's really cool. It's really incredible. Um, Mike's drumming here again, it delivers on everything we expect from Mike as a drummer, and this is true pretty much the entire album, but it really shines a lot here. He brings a lot of the high intensity, crazy good drum fills, and it's exactly what we expect from him, and he really kind of returns to this prog form as a drummer, and it's really welcoming. It's really really cool to hear. And then the band, just in general, again, they bring a high level of intensity, technical prowess, and just a lot of emotion when it's called for in the song. And it's a really great way to close out the album. Overall, I mean, it's a fantastic listen. It's definitely something that I think that a lot of people can enjoy. That everyone's tones were spectacular. The writing felt like it was a band that had been together for decades. Like it doesn't feel out of place. Nothing feels too strange. Um, and considering that everyone in this band is a powerhouse, they're superstars within their own right. And so the fact that they were able to come together and be this cohesive band and this unit and make songs that are just incredible. Really, it speaks to the future of the band and how well these guys are going to do going forward. They really go beyond the definition of prog music, though, which is really cool. They they said it themselves that they take this album really takes the prog definition and really kind of reshapes it, and they go from everything from classic rock to metal to metal, prog rock. They really incorporate a lot of different styles into this, and it holds true through every song in the album. It's really incredible. They've really delivered on the album. The hype was real. It was built up a lot, and it delivered even more than I could have expected and anticipated. Like, they're touring next year, pretty much all next year. Everyone's going on hiatus from everything else that they're doing and just touring with Sons of Apollo. So that's going to be really exciting, and I can't wait for what other albums they have to come. It should be really cool. If you guys have listened to the album, drop your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. I mean, I've only listened to it through a few times, so I'm sure that there's things that other people are going to be able to pick out from here that I haven't heard yet that I'm probably going to pick up later on through our later listens. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thanks, guys, for watching.